A lot of people in the comments section were asking what sort of purchase price I paid for this 97 Moonglow Pearl and Desert Pearl two-tone triple locked Land Cruiser. I'm going to go over that here in a second. Before I start, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this as we go through the adventure of restoring this truck from start to finish, both mechanically, cosmetically, and all throughout the interior. Make sure to subscribe so you can see all the other content and tons of other videos in the channel if you want to check them out related to Land Cruisers. Now, if you watched any of the other videos, I did pick this guy up from San Antonio, Texas, drove it all the way back up here, a 2-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive to Round Rock, Texas, just north of Austin. It has leaks in every place you can think of. Oil's leaking, coolant's leaking, transmission fluid's leaking, power steering fluid's leaking, axle grease and differential fluid are leaking in the front. The interior is in pretty bad shape, dash is cracked, all sorts of problems. We're going to address most of them as we go through the process of restoring this guy, and I think it will be worth it once we're done. And a lot of the labor I'll be doing myself, but the parts that we're going to be using are all OEM genuine Toyota. Now, a question that came up a few times in the comments, and some folks messaged me on Facebook and by email, is what we paid for this truck. And that's what I'm going to go over right now. Now, most people know that the factory triple locked 97 are the most valuable. Depending on the condition of the truck, you might be paying on the lower end or the higher end of the scale. Some of them I've seen go for as little as 12 or 13,000 bucks, maybe even lower than that, in the $9,000 or $10,000 range if you've got a ton of problems, wrecks, body damage, stuff like that. And some of them, if you've been keeping up with bringatrailer.com, carsandbids.com, and some of the other enthusiast auction websites out there, you'll see that some of them have gone for upwards of $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, and even higher than that in some cases. Again, a lot of that depends on the condition, number of owners, accident history on the Carfax, and also the mileage being the most important one when it comes to the actual value people are willing to pay for these trucks. Now, this one in particular, it does have some cosmetic issues. It's only a 3-owner truck, and it's been in Texas for the majority of its life. It's got some little upgrades here and there that are worth some sort of monetary value, but it does have probably 15 plus years of maintenance that need to be brought up to speed. Mechanically, it seems to be in good condition. We haven't really dove into it so far, but we will here over the next few videos. Cosmetically, on the interior, it needs a ton of work. On the outside, the body is pretty straight. There's some dents and dings here and there, but nothing really major. It could use a fresh paint job if we get to that point, or maybe we won't paint it. I'm not really sure yet. Well, let's talk about the actual purchase price that I paid for it. The truck was originally for sale for, I think, $16,000 or so, as it was advertised on Facebook Marketplace. I reached out the first day that it was posted for sale. I spoke to the owner, asked for some photos of the underbody, looking for rust and things, which there weren't any. Overall, the condition of the chassis is pretty great. Mechanically, everything seems to work. The triple lockers function. They engage smoothly. They disengage smoothly. The center locker also engages and disengages smoothly. It doesn't seem like it's burning any oil. It's leaking a lot of oil, but it doesn't seem like it's burning any. There is a little puff of blue smoke at startup. I'm pretty certain that's from the PCV valve. If you've had that sort of symptom on really any gasoline-powered vehicle, first thing you always want to check is the PCV valve. They do go bad, they get stuck, and once they get stuck, the crankcase ventilation system is not working properly, and you're pushing oil past the piston rings, and also the valve seals into the combustion chamber, and that's where that puff of blue smoke comes from, or a little bit of burning oil if it's really bad and there's no crankcase ventilation at all. You'll even burn through half a quart or a quart of oil every few thousand miles. That could be because of a worn motor, but more times than not, it's your PCV valve. So make sure to check that. And if you need to know how to replace it, look at the videos on the channel. There's one for an 80 series in particular on how to change that PCV valve. So I went and met the owner in San Antonio. We walked through the truck, the history of it. Super nice guy, ex-military, coming from a military family, very nice gentleman, and we settled on a price, negotiated there. It was on a weekend, so I went ahead and gave him a few $1,000 as a deposit, and then came back on the following, I think, Friday, when I got back from a work trip to pick up the truck and get the payment finalized, get all the paperwork for the title and everything transferred over at that point. The final price we settled on, that's the question everybody wants to know, right? So we settled on $14,000 even. Got him paid, got that out of the way, and then in Texas we have a 6.25% sales tax to get a title transferred over for a vehicle. So add another 6% to that $14,000, and it puts me around $15,000 or so, give or take. So all in, I'm right around $15,000 before we even start to do anything. It's a little bit on the high end, I think, in my personal opinion, but the truck is mechanically very good as far as functionality goes. The body is straight. It's only a 3-owner vehicle. The big downside that I can't really do anything about is the mileage. It's got a little bit north of 250,000 miles on it currently. It is what it is. I think for resale value, we're not really going to make much off of this truck if we try to fix it up and sell it. It's a matter of doing all the work correctly, and it's going to take several $1,000s and many man hours worth of work to get it up to where it needs to be. And by that time, I think the best we can hope for is probably to break even. And that's not to say that it's not a good truck and it's not valuable and it's not going to be a great driver. It will be once we're done with it, but I don't think there's any money to be made if you're looking to flip it for a profit. Unless you do the work not so great and you use aftermarket parts and you go about it in a cheaper manner, which in that case, you probably could make a few $1,000s off of it, but my intention is to do all of it correctly with all OEM genuine parts and do it as if I were going to keep this truck for life, just like I do with all my projects. So there's the answer to everybody's question. $14,000 is what we paid for it. All in, before we even touch it, we're at about $15,000 after taxes and everything to get the title transferred over. And now we're at a starting point where we're going to be documenting everything we do on it, both on video and on spreadsheets and paper as far as cost goes. I'll break it down for you guys as we go as far as what we paid for parts, what retail is, what wholesale was that we paid, and I'll be keeping a log of all of that and share with you guys my spreadsheets and everything else so that you can go through and pick and choose what you want to do on your vehicle, which pieces and components you want to use as far as being factory or aftermarket, and you can use it as a comparison to what you've done already and kind of plan your path forward on your truck as you go through your adventure of trying to restore your 80 series. I hope the video was helpful. Look forward to seeing more of your comments and feedback on these videos. I really like making these for y'all, so you have more information as you're going into a new project with an 80 series Land Cruiser. Again, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Any comments or questions you have, leave them below. I'm always happy to help wherever I can. Love you guys. See you next time.